You're a colored from Mitchell's Plain. All those gold rings, but no degree. Right now, when we land, I'm going to take an Uber home. You don't even have a license. You don't even have a car. Ouch. That was harsh, no? Not so much. Just boorish behavior. A South African woman in now viral videos from a FlySafAir flight appears to be intoxicated, reportedly requested more alcohol from flight attendants. However, the crew declined to serve her any more alcohol, so she threw a violent temper tantrum. The woman can be heard on multiple recordings making so-called racist slurs towards the crew. Now, the loose application of racist or racism to every perceived grievance in South Africa, frankly, ladies and gentlemen, is nauseating. Her comment is bigotry, not racism. It's rude, it's disrespectful, but it's not racist as such. In the videos, crew and passengers are seen trying to restrain the woman who threw a drink in a flight attendant's face and went on to physically shove another one. Watch here as she throws her drink in the face of a flight attendant. That is assault, and it's a criminal charge. The passenger then quickly follows this assault up with yet a second assault when she gets up and shoves the flight attendant. That is also a case of assault. The woman can also be heard screaming, "You don't know who my father is," to the crew. Oh, but we are dying to know who he is, sweetheart. And in a twist, the woman has reportedly been identified as a member of staff at the South African Broadcasting Corporation, a state-owned ANC-run operation. SABC quickly commented on the explosive breaking story. The SABC regrets this incident and always encourages staff members to uphold the SABC values of respect and integrity in all their interactions. In the video clip, the staff member mentions the SABC and states that this incident will be broadcast on SABC News. They went on to say, "We would like to reiterate that SABC News is guided by the editorial code and maintains its editorial independence, and the decisions pertaining to all news items are made in the newsroom and not influenced by non-editorial staff members. The SABC will use the relevant channels in line with its internal procedures to engage the staff member." Now, folks, that's rich. The SABC provides all too frequent fawning news coverage of Cyril Ramaphosa and his merry band of ineptitudes. The SABC hardly comes across as not influenced by politicians. The incident took place on December 26th, Boxing Day, during a flight from Durban to Cape Town. In now viral videos captured by passengers, the woman was seen causing chaos on the plane. The ruling African National Congress was also quick to publicly comment on the ANC bitch story. The ANC is distancing itself from this unseemly matter of a fool playing the stereotypical role of angry black woman. "You don't know who my father is. I'm an ANC bitch." She could be heard yelling at officials and other passengers who were trying to calm down the situation. I'll confess, folks, I've never heard a member of the ANC calling themselves an ANC bitch. But then these days, anything imaginable is on the table. The ANC took exception to the comment in what is a welcome statement on the matter. ANC spokesperson Mahalengi Bengu Motsiri said the party had noted the woman's behavior while invoking the name of the ANC as if to justify her unruly behavior with disgust and disdain. Regardless of whether this individual is a member of the ANC, we unequivocally state that no person has the right to behave in such an unacceptable manner, and certainly not while misusing the good name of the ANC. Well done, ANC. I have to give you credit for once. That's well stated. The ANC has also initiated an investigation into the woman's membership status. The ANC will not allow its name to be dragged through the mud by individuals who fail to uphold the dignity and decorum expected of all South Africans, let alone members of our organization. Well, fair enough. But perhaps this attitude from the ANC should be consistent and not confined to things that are so easily one can distance themselves from that are in the public eye like this. The plethora of ANC corruption scandals should also elicit such quick repudiation for the party to have any credibility going forward. Now, this incident is a consequence of 2 generations of entitled ANC cadres not being held accountable for such actions. South African society is rotten to the core when it comes to this entitled cater and or black supremacy attitude. Now, there's already been plenty of media coverage of her racist comments. Again, I don't think they're racist. Yet virtually none of the genuine problem is mentioned here. Arrogance, entitlement, and self-obsession fueled by false racist narratives that have allowed tens of thousands of privileged patronage puppies to get away with such boorish behavior, often falsely accusing the targets of their ire of having been racist towards them. Case in point, the racially motivated assault and attempted murder of Mark Hanscom at the Hanscom Resort in Orkney in Northwest Province on December 16th by arrogant thugs who resort to violence when they do not get their way breaking rules. In an interview on ENCA, Northwest Police spokesman Adele Myberg said, "I can confirm the 53-year-old victim was stabbed many times during a confrontation. A dispute arose after suspects allegedly used a hubbly bubbly, a popular water pipe device used for smoking, which is banned under the resort's non-smoking policy. Myberg said the suspects were reportedly warned twice by resort employees to stop using the device, and that's when people started getting aggressive. The situation escalated when employees called the owner, Mark Hanscom, who attempted to address the situation in a reasonable manner, and that's when the physical confrontation started. It wasn't much of a confrontation as he was assaulted by numerous people. Now, three suspects, Hayani Ronald Mai, 47, Daniel Naksamakeli, 35, and Pizzo Radabe, 47, face attempted murder charges. Given the racial nature of the attempted murder, several questions come to mind. Were the suspects arrested? And if so, what was their bail? Are they in pretrial confinement? If not, given the clear and present danger they present to the public, stabbing people in public at a resort, and especially minority South Africans, why aren't they in pretrial confinement? Have they been vilified as racist by the media? Have they lost their jobs as a consequence of being labeled by the media as racist? What, if any, political affiliations do they have? Now, I ask these questions not because they should be germane, but because if the accused were white South Africans, the media would be demanding such answers and destroying their lives. In the Orkney case, we do not know if the animus is racially motivated, but the media sure would make such a claim if the victim was a lone black South African being assaulted by a crowd of white folks. It's now been 13 days since the attempted murder in Orkney and 3 days since the incident with the ANC bitch on a flight. When Christopher Logan lied about Hank's old Irish pub in December of 2022, nearly destroying the business with his false allegations, the captured South African Human Rights Commission moved with alacrity to investigate the bogus story, while South Africa's media libeled the owners of the pub and feted the race-hustling Logan with interviews and endless praise for being courageous in an endless parade of fake race hustling. 3 years later, none of them have yet to correct the record, print retractions, or offer apologies. The Hank's fake racism incident occurred on December 1st, 2022. Just 6 days later, on December 7th, 2022, the South African Human Rights Commission announced on their website, South African Human Rights Commission to probe Hank's old Irish pub's alleged racism. Now, in that fake race hustling incident, no human being was physically harmed, yet a potentially racially motivated attempted murder caught on video seems to have escaped the South African Human Rights Commission's attention despite being on the news the very same day, 2 weeks ago. So long as South Africa's government continues to fund a blatant, racially skewed organization bent on attacking primarily minorities while denying it investigates bogus or outright false allegations, which it does, society will never be equal and the wounds of the past will remain an open, festering sore, poisoning race relations and society, to be exploited by dishonest politicians and professional grievance merchants on both sides of the political aisle. I call for the South African Human Rights Commission to initiate an immediate investigation into the two incidents where, in Orkney, a man was nearly deprived of his most basic human right, the right to life, in what clearly appears to be a racially motivated attack and the vile language of a passenger in midair disrupting the flight and assaulting staff. Simultaneously, given the ANC and the SABC have both opened investigations into someone whose conduct was reprehensible and whose words clearly violate the South African Human Rights Commission's sensitive ears, should they ever be uttered by minority South Africans, I also call on the South African Human Rights Commission to open an investigation and file a criminal complaint against the self-described ANC bitch for the harm she caused with her racially tinged verbal assault of passengers and crew on that flight. I also call on the government of national unity to begin a parliamentary investigation to be conducted by an independent third non-BEE party into the actions of the South African Human Rights Commission to determine if there's merit to the perception that the organization is focused almost exclusively on demonizing minorities rather than fulfilling its charter. It's sad that governments feel the need to regulate speech, a fundamental inalienable right, a fundamental human right. Even sadder that they presume to possess the authority to do so, but that is the case in South Africa. The ANC bitch is welcome to be a bigot and be as obnoxious as she desires. Such boorish behavior should not constitute a crime, provided there are no threats stated or implied. A functioning civil society will ostracize any ignoramus that acts in such a vile fashion. However, South Africa is far from a well-functioning society. That said, the ANC and others consistently use the law to criminalize minority speech while tolerating the likes of, among many others, the EFF's Julius Malema and Obakeng Arambobodu, who both publicly called for the violent murder of white South Africans. South Africa has nullified its eligibility for duty-free access to the United States market through the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act. If the ruling party will not treat its citizens equally, we should not empower that government with sweetheart trade deals and duty-free access to our market. Perhaps the Trump administration, with Elon Musk close by, who originally comes from South Africa, may finally end this privilege that the ANC disqualified South Africa from 6 years ago. What say you, folks? God bless.